News Now.
Good evening, I'm Natalie Hepner. Thanks for joining us. With Election Day being just over 20 days away, both parties are pulling out all the stops. Earlier today, Superior welcomed Independent Senator Bernie Sanders, who spoke on behalf of the Harris-Walz Campaign. Our Isabel Zadra attended the rally with Sanders and highlights why he is endorsing Kamala Harris this election.
It is not just the presidential candidates rallying ahead of Election Day. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders visited Superior High School on Saturday, speaking to the people of Wisconsin about the Harris-Walz campaign.
Listen to what Kamala is talking about. She's raising some really important issues.
He said that he's endorsing Harris and rallying with her because he thinks she's fighting for the right issues like women's rights and climate change. He also said she's a truthful candidate, just the type of person he thinks should be running our country. Sanders spoke on many hot political topics during the rally, but his main focus was on America's health care, how he thinks it should look, and what Harris will do to make it better.
For the first time in the history of the country, we have Medicare now negotiating prescription drug prices with the pharmaceutical industry.
As a part of the rally, he also engaged with the audience, giving them the opportunity to start a conversation. One of the many audience speakers was Diane Yoder, a teacher from Superior High School. She attended the rally not only because she agrees with many Democratic values, but because she has her own story with the healthcare system. Only a few weeks back, Yoder had major surgery and says without her insurance, things would have looked a lot different for her.
I would have ended up paying well over $500,000. I can't do that. So I would have had to live with my lung cancer.
Yoder and others from the state were thrilled that Sanders made a stop in Superior. The question is, why Wisconsin? The Midwest state is known for being a swing state, favoring different candidates from year to year. Both parties are fighting for the Wisconsin's overall vote, pulling out all the stops before Election Day on November 5th.
Wisconsin may determine the fate of the nation. No secret, this state is up for grabs.
In Superior, Isabella Zadra, Northern News Now.
Thank you, Isabella. We reached out to the Wisconsin GOP, who gave us a statement about Sanders' visit. They said Wisconsin Democrats are doubling down on disaster by putting socialist Senator Bernie Sanders on tour, and that he is the poster boy of bad policies in the state of Wisconsin.